This is a 13 thread 18 row repeat pattern. Pattern number 73245 on friendshipbracelets.net. To get started, it helps if you can arrange your threads in colour order. For this pattern, the colour order you start with is green, yellow, red, black, blue, red, black, yellow and green. Because this bracelet pattern has an odd number of threads, you will need to leave one thread unused on every row. So normally when knotting with an even number of threads, you'll knot all the threads on your first row and then you'll skip the outside threads on your even numbered rows. For this pattern you need to skip the right hand thread on your first row on every odd numbered row, and on your even numbered rows you want to skip the left hand thread on every even numbered row. For row 1, you want to do forward backward knots for your first 3 knots. For your next knot, you want to do a forward knot. And for your next 2 knots, you want to do a backward forward knot. And as I mentioned, you won't knot with this last thread. For row 2, you want to ignore this first thread, and starting with threads 2 and 3, you want to do a forward backward knot. And then another forward backward knot. And then a backward forward knot. Then a forward knot. And then a forward backward knot. And then a backward forward knot. For your third row, you want to do 3 forward backward knots. A backward forward knot. Forward knot, and a backward forward knot. For your fourth row, you want to do a forward backward knot, three backward forward knots, a forward knot, and a backward forward knot. For row 5, you want to do 2 forward backward knots. A backward forward knot, and 3 forward backward knots. For row 6, you want to do a forward backward knot, three backward forward knots, a backward knot, and a backward forward knot. For row 7, you want to do 3 forward backward knots, a backward forward knot, a backward knot, and a backward forward knot. For row 8, you want to do 2 forward backward knots, a backward forward knot, a backward knot, a forward backward knot, and a backward forward knot. For row 9, you want to do 3 forward backward knots, a backward knot, and 2 backward forward knots. For row 10, you want to do a forward backward knot, a backward forward knot, a backward knot, 2 forward backward knots, and a backward forward knot. For row 11 you want to do 2 forward backward knots, a backward knot, a backward forward knot, a forward backward knot, and a backward forward knot. For row 12 you want to do a forward backward knot, a backward knot, a backward forward knot, two forward backward knots, and a backward forward knot. For row 13 you want to do a backward forward knot, a backward knot, three backward forward knots, and another backward forward knot. For row 14 you want to do a backward forward knot, two forward backward knots, a backward forward knot, a forward backward knot, and a backward forward knot. For row 15 you want to do a forward backward knot, a forward knot, and four backward forward knots. For row 16 you want to do a forward backward knot, a forward knot, backward forward knot, two forward backward knots, and a backward forward knot. For row 17 you want to do 2 forward backward knots, a forward knot, a backward forward knot, a forward backward knot, and a backward forward knot. For row 18 you want to do a forward backward knot, a backward forward knot, a forward knot, two forward backward knots, and a backward forward knot. And once you've done these 18 rows, you want to return to what you did in row 1 and keep repeating these 18 rows all the way down until you've got the bracelet as long as you want it to be. And when you're finished, you should end up with something that looks like this. So I've finished with 2 braided tie-on ends, but you could use any fastening that you prefer.